Hi everybody, good evening and welcome back to Extremesland 2018 Asia Finals. It's into Grand Finals time now as well, Kevin. And of course, it's going to be NASR and MVP PK. Straight onto our first map of Nuke. Very, very excited for this Grand Final. It's been a fantastic event so far. And I think this Grand Final is going to mean a lot to particularly NASR, but for MVP PK as well. It will be very nice to get a Grand Final win under their belt on LAN with this newer roster as well. So let's see which of these two teams is going to take it away. MVP starting off on the T side here of Nuke. No real surprises there. It is their map choice. Of course, you're going to take CT side as NASR. And already the pistol round looking good here for MVP.
Yeah, as they're just holding down on the site, already doing a lot of early damage, and you can see that the CTs are just contained. There's no real easy way for them in. They're just walking into a massive onslaught, and Havoc is the only one that can pick up a single kill at the end of the day. And I was going to say earlier, talking about NASR, I think this is the first time they've hit a Grand Finals of such a high caliber event. And for MVP, I mean, already it's the yellow tech pause. Of course it is.
Well, that's okay to me, to be honest, because it is going to give a little bit of time for us to kind of set the stage for this matchup. And obviously, because we don't have much of a pre-show, we don't have time to do that. But for me, this is such a big deal for NASR because they're a team that is kind of underrepresented in terms of opportunities that they do get to go to these bigger lands. But for MVP PK, they're like the absolute favorite coming into this entire competition and, of course, into this grand final. So it's a bit of a tale of two sides. NASR on the up and up and trying to prove themselves, and MVP just trying to keep control and keep a stranglehold on that Asian region.
I think looking at NASR here in terms of, we say that part of the Asian region, but they don't really have as much exposure coming in from the UAE and playing in a bit more of a really peculiar scenario. A really peculiar, really isolated scenario. I really believe they peaked in this. This is them all overperforming at this stage, in my mind. Like, Nami is just an absolute god. Greens has come in as a sub. No expectation whatsoever. He's just deleting people with just confidence at this stage. But this is where all the nerves might be starting to set in, and this is where the experience counts for so much more. Semi-finals, you can say, yeah, with the underdogs, we can try to keep doing damage, but now you're against the big titans at MVP PK. How many times has your players like Solo, Glow, and Zeph faced this? And even Zyne and Mini Zeta to an extent in the Asia region, they've played at caliber tournaments like this.
Yeah, they've definitely been to their fair share of finals and under high-pressure situations, which you can't necessarily say so much for NASR esports. But like you said, NASR are peaking in this tournament, and they have got some incredible players right now on their team. They're in great form. MVP PK, their form has been a little bit up and down of late as well. So there is, I think, a very minor opening here for NASR esports to get a match win against MVP PK in a best-of-3 on LAN. It's a tough ask, and for sure I would be backing MVP PK to get the victory here if I had to give a prediction. But we can't count NASR esports out.
100%. The entire way they made their way through from the quarterfinals and semifinals, they versed off against the Chiefs, and I mean, as much as we like the Chiefs, it's still very much a brand new roster in terms of a lot of things. NASR have had time to integrate the members. We say Greens is a sub, but he's been part of this roster before. He's been playing with the boys. He knows exactly what his role inside the team is by the looks of it. He's very comfortable in what he's doing at this stage, and his work an absolute treat. I mean, we are praising NASR a lot, but I don't think anyone expected them to get into the grand finals at this stage. They've done a lot of good work to get there. They even took down Boot Dreamscape just then, as we saw. It was a long, extended out affair, but the composure to come back from that 4-11 deficit and really just close out Mirage there shows, I think, just a bit of the glimpse of the caliber of the team that they really are. And if they're able to keep this confidence forward and not let the pressure get to them, just like that, Greens, he knows that he needs to get some confidence, shots rolling, and that is 2 heads straight down. Mini Zeta are going to be trying to answer, but MVP are hitting a roadblock in the extent that there are a lot of CTs at this Outers area.
Yeah, but that extra AK has been retrieved here for Glow. Player advantage right now for NASR. I was going to take the opportunity to talk about the map picks here, but let's just hold the press for the moment and see how this anti-force buy, anti-eco kind of thing does play out for MVP. I say it's an anti-force buy because I saw a deagle there, but to be honest, it is really just a full eco out for NASR. Now with those 3 USPs left, to be honest, I got to say I think MVP should be walking away with the rest of this round. It was a little bit scary for Greens, or with Greens there for a moment with that deagle, but now that that's taken away, I think MVP should be okay. So I do want to quickly touch on the map pool just so that everyone that is watching this match is aware of how things did play out. Now, overpass taken away by MVP. That's pretty straightforward. That's their perma video at the moment, so no surprises there. Cage taken again away from NASR. It's no surprises in that respect. Nuke, the choice by MVP, which we can obviously see us on right now. I do really like this choice. Now, typically, if you were an MVP fan or if you were a fan of Asian Counter-Strike and you'd watched a lot of MVP and watched us cast a lot of MVP, we would always say that Inferno would be a great map for MVP PK. But I do feel as though of late, their Inferno actually has looked quite shaky. And a lot of the teams within this Asian region have played a lot of Inferno now. It's a map that we see a lot of the time. Breaker doing a little bit of damage to the bomb planted there, but no real concerns here just yet for MVP. But touching on the maps again, I do really enjoy the fact that MVP have chosen Nuke here. It's a map that most teams within this region are not too comfortable with. And I think their Inferno has been shaky of late. Interestingly enough, later on down the track, they did actually veto away Inferno in favor of allowing Mirage through as the third map. So the pool is going to be Nuke, Train, and Mirage as the three. And I really like this for MVP. You look at all three of those maps, they're very strong on all three of those maps. And I'm actually kind of happy that they're not playing Inferno, to be honest, which is, it's surprising to say because we've always associated MVP with a great Inferno team, but their Inferno has been a little bit up and down. So I do like that veto away by MVP, and I do think this is going to be a good map pool for them as they do secure that third round, and now we're getting to the first gun round with KitKat taking that UMP through. That's a nice little boost to the CT economy.
Especially the Mac 10 kill at the end as well, because they're just able to get a little bit of extra cash in. I think Nami actually got the SMG kill, and that could have actually been pretty big in terms of assisting the economy. You can see that with that SMG kill, he's able to get that incendiary grenade up in as well as alongside with the flashbang. That's pretty big, in all honesty.
Yep.
Havoc drops him the AWP as well, just to make sure he's got that helmet armor, but Mini Zeta just straight on the challenge. He abuses the timing at Squeaky to perfection. And Breaker, unfortunately, just dropping. He had a lot of utility to play with still. He's only been allowed to use a single grenade, and that's going to be quite costly for the CT side so far.
Yeah, MVP definitely going to be relying a little bit on Mini Zeta in this particular series. He has been somewhat of a star for the roster. When he did come into it, I was sort of questioning it why he was replacing HSK and how he was going to step into this roster, but he definitely has impressed. He's been the second highest rated player for MVP PK in the last 3 months, just behind Zion, which, to be fair, is pretty expected at this point. Zion is such a superstar. So I do think that Zion and Mini Zeta are the ones that are enabled within this roster, and we're expecting to see both of these two guys have an impactful performance today for MVP. On the side of NASR, well, you have to talk about Nami. You have to talk a little bit about Greens. You know, even though he is the substitute into this roster, I think those are the four players in this matchup to watch. And if any one or two or three of those four can sort of step up here, then we're in for a very, very exciting match.
Much more slower pace round coming out as MVP. They're trying to just let the time tick away before they decide to execute out here in the A bomb site. Still have the option of potentially slipping through vent as well. Globe, he's setting up through the skybox for these nades. He also has that Molotov, so we're going to see one going into hut, potentially one into that CT vent area as well, but the CTs are going to be playing quite close. KitKat going to be dancing close at that T-vent. Greens is taking a little bit of initial damage early on, but the entries come out straight in, and there's just a straight-on collapse from MVP PK. NASR, there's absolutely nothing they can do.
Yeah, and this is why I'm happy that MVP have chosen the map of Nuke as their own, as opposed to Inferno. I think they look really, really solid on this map. They're very, very well drilled, and they're a super coordinated team as well, which is exactly what you need on a map like Nuke. So we're going to see some very, very clean entries into those sites. Obviously, in this instance, they do have the 4v5 advantage, which does make things a little bit easier. But, you know, if things are kind of going a little bit awry for them, very, very good rotations around the map. They're able to always play with their CT opponents, and they're clutching on this map as well in particular is very, very solid. So already going to be up to 4-0 to start things off on that T side. Things are going fantastically for MVP right now. We're going to see another eco out from NASR Esports in this round, and they've even taken the AWP away by Nami. This is working perfectly right now for MVP.
100%. This is them going to a game plan. Like I said, they can bring in another level of intensity coming into the grand finals, and this is really up to NASR to step up to the occasion as well. Greens looks like so far on the Deagle, he's definitely still feeling it. For Nami, not in the area to really have the impact of the AWP just yet. He probably needs to be in the position around Hell as well as Heaven. Not easy when you're losing that first pick, obviously. As you said earlier on, MVP were able to exploit that quite well. Wanted to just touch briefly on the map pool, because you were talking about it a little bit earlier on. I was about to say we elaborated, but it was really just you. I'm glad that MVP did not pick Dust 2.
Yes,
because
also that. I didn't even touch on that.
My God, if they just went MVP picked Dust 2, I would have just
screamed
That's
internally.
100%
Externally, maybe.
Sudoku time.
I don't understand why MVP are so keen on picking Dust 2 because every time I've watched them on it, it has not been a pretty sight, to be honest. I don't think it's a great map for MVP. Maybe the reason is that they're trying to work it into their map pool or something, but definitely not in a grand final. You don't want to be doing that. There's, the lion's share of $100,000. I think it's 40K for first place here on the line. You don't want to be picking a map that you're not 100% comfortable on.
That's it, and this is the part where you can bring out all the tricks of the trade as well in terms of Nuke. It's always been that MVP special, hasn't looked shaky so far like Inferno has recently. So, and starting on the T side, look, they are going to be walking against pistols. Breaker. Going to be dropping utility, but you can see how scared these CTs are at the moment. They've lost so much map control. And it just makes you so scared right now. All these members of MVP slowly walking up. No one from NASR knows what's going on until that grenade comes flying forward.
Yeah, but Breaker's in a great position here, and with this CZ, he's able to do a lot of damage. Solo down to 20. Zine able to salvage a kill there, as well as Solo a couple for him. So things are looking okay for MVP. A little bit scary for a moment, but again, that experience showing through. They're not letting the chaos ensue. They're just chilling out and making sure things are okay. Playing it a little bit slower, not rushing into that site after the initial player does go down. 5-0 up. Nicely done by MVP. Another good buy to come out here by NASR, and this is where they really need to respond and show us something.
And here's the round that you need to do it with as well. You've got the AWP on Nami. I want to see him in a smart position. Breaker can't really just give an easy opportunity over for MiniZeta just to get a pick like that. The CTs need to stay alive and play around this AWP. I feel like that's their biggest success, right? You're relying on Nami as well as Greens to get your opening picks because they seem to be the players that are able to flick on and get your natural starts, I guess, flowing as MVP. I mean, not even throwing smokes into that ghetto position.
Very, very bold from MVP. I don't actually mind seeing that here in this. Well, I would say this is the second gun round, but this is the first proper gun round out from NASR. For MVP, they're just trying to see how much they can actually get away with before they start to really double down on this T side. It's okay for them to lose around here because they haven't thrown those smokes there. We're not going to be seeing them do that again, I don't think. But if they were to get away with that, you know, then obviously that's even more of a spanner in the works for NASR. So I like that MVP's kind of trying to push the boundaries here a little bit and see what they can get away with. It is one pick gone the way of NASR, which is obviously a good start for them. Round's not over just yet, though, for MVP, as they have managed to get a few players into some positions to push onto the bomb sites. I do think there's one or two guys in toward lower, but there's also a lot of utility right now available for MVP. A lot of time left to work with, so let's just see how this round does play out.
I can't tell if Glow is in unders at the moment or if he's... Oh my goodness, I hate taking a look in terms of the minimap to see where everyone is, but I think all of MVP are mainly clustered around the outside area, and Breaker trying to get a little bit of information, going to be penalized for it. I mean, NASR, they're trying to make these late mid-round plays, even though they really don't need to in my mind, because they've got so much control. They've lost that control all of a sudden. Havoc has to drop this utility in the A-bomb site, and now it's just really down to the rifler underneath. That's going to be Greens, who's rotated out very early on. Nami instantly countered, and still MiniZeta trying to dance around.
There's 15 seconds, and they need to get on that bomb. Greens are stepping up once again for his roster. Will be shut down by Zion, but he has to commit to the plant. Not sure exactly where Havoc is at the moment. I think the plant will go down safely. Havoc might be coming in from decon based on what I can see right now on the mini-map. Kind of hard to tell exactly what's going to go on, but Zion does win the aim battle. 6-0 there for MVP, and that's why I say this round is not over for MVP. Just because they lose that first player on the cross, they look much more comfortable right now on Nuke than what NASR do, and they're able to exploit that. And
this is just down to the CT side not having as much experience. You can see that Breaker as well as KitKat, they're really nervous, right? It's a 5-on-4. You should be in a very advantageous situation. You haven't lost any map control from there. You've taken maybe a little bit of damage as KitKat, but you know there are going to be some T's outers, and they just make a play in the open, no supporting flashbangs. That just feels to me really jittery, and I mean, mistakes that I really haven't seen NASR make as many before. Mistakes are amplified on Nuke so heavily because you can get played around with your rotation so hard. You can see Greens, he's sitting at Megaton. They've actually got 2 and unders. But they just can't do anything with 2 unders because there's still 4 people from MVP that are just steamrolling down. Because as soon as you lose the outers, they could be going heaven into A, they could be going unders, they could even be having so many people in the lobby, and there is absolutely nothing that you can do.
The other thing to speak about here for NASR on this CT side is that they have not had a good CT side really at all. They were a bit shaky there on Mirage. They were very shaky on Inferno against Boot Dreamscape when they were on the CT side. A lot of their rounds came on the T side. So, you know, on a map like Nuke, which is so CT-sided heavy, you really need to be doing something better than 0 and 6. Even if you can say, look, our CT side isn't our strong suit, you need to be able to find, you know, I'd say at least 8 here for NASR from this point onwards to give themselves a chance, hoping that they have a great T side on Nuke. But it could just be the fact of the matter that they're not particularly comfortable here on Nuke, and MVP, like I said, is going to be able to exploit that.
Oh, what did NASR ban out again as the first pick? They banned out
Cache.
Cache.
Which is not a great map for MVP, but I have to imagine that would be a map that NASR just doesn't like to play, because we haven't really seen them play at all throughout this tournament.
I mean, it could just be their insta-ban.
Exactly.
You've got teams that maybe they just can't play that map and they're just instantly out of the pool. They'd have to really consider it. And now out comes the MVP execute into the A-bomb site. Breaker needs to be making his way up into heaven. He needs to be that angel on the A-bomb site to try to help some of his other teammates, but it just seems like the crossfire is just too good once again from the CTs. They're just coming in, or from the Ts, sorry. They're just coming in unison and just fragging it up. There is one thing I wanted to say about how ridiculous MVP have been playing the last 3 months, is that Zion has not had a single negative rating.
Really? I mean,
I think he
not
might
surprised.
have like 1 out of maybe about 20 or 30 maps that he's played in the last 3 months.
I'm not surprised. Like, it's a pretty impressive statistic, but when I think about it, yeah, pretty much he is always the one that, even on their bad games, like Zion's always seeming to perform.
Actually, I think it was like here. Oh, no. So not in the last 3 months. In the last 3 months, he's had a couple, but it's like 3 or 4 at most. And in the last week, he's had 0 negative ratings.
Yeah.
So I think he put even a positive rating against VC Gaming as well in this entire tournament. He's been stomping it. This last week, his rating is 1.43.
Yeah. Well, that's about where he does normally sit. I think he's normally...
He's normally about a 1.4.
Yeah, 1.4 I think is where I looked at him lately. 1.4 or 1.3. Anyway, beside the point, it's obviously been a very, very good change for MVP to bring Zion in. Obviously, that was quite a while ago, but I definitely think it has been a big, big boost to this MVP roster. And to be honest, I think this MVP roster is looking better than they ever have, in my opinion, at least. For NASR, though, down 7-0 right now on the CT side of Nuke. It's not painting a pretty picture for a side that we sort of hyped up a little bit coming into this grand final as having some potential, some kind of a chance. But fact of the matter is, MVP were always the favorites coming into this matchup, and especially on a map like Nuke, you really, really can't be making too many mistakes against a team like MVP. And unfortunately for NASR, that's what they've been doing. Maybe it's fatigue, maybe it's something else, maybe they're not comfortable with the map. Regardless, MVP is looking so strong and so dominant right now on Nuke that if NASR doesn't get their act together very quickly, this first map is going to be falling over very quickly.
Nami's here with the AWP though, and that's exactly where MVP want to be executing out. Flashbang comes forward, but Nami at the corner missing a shot. Needs to do much better this time around. That's a little bit better coming in from Nami, getting the flick on the cross from Zion. But still, so many Ts going to be flooding into the unders bomb site. You can see they've got the Molotovs to make sure there's no cheeky CTs. Look at those Molotovs just raining out. The positions also being established from MVP as well. Greens, he's just trying to go in, trying to deny a little bit from the T side, but he can't do anything at all.
Well, NASR, they need to try and make something happen here. Unfortunately, not too much in the ways of grenades, flashbangs. It's not even that useful to have too much utility heading into the B bomb site on this map in particular. They're not going to have as much advantages from it. And right now, they're not finding any advantages in the aim battles either. MVP just looking so much stronger in that department. Glow shutting down so many time and time again there. Glow with the ace in that round as well, by the way. You wouldn't have known it because it was just so easy, so clean from him. But that's 5 kills going out for Glow. He's up to 10-2 after 8 rounds. Looking across the scoreboard there for MVP, it's just phenomenal. 6-2 for Solo, 10-2 for Glow, 8-3 for Zion, and 8-2 for Mini Zeta. The only one that's really struggling, and I say struggling, is Zeth, but he's got 5 kills and 4 assists as well for only 7 deaths. He's really getting a lot of value. On the other side of the coin for NASR, things are just not working.
No, the individual firepower just isn't there at the moment, and it's could also be down to the fact that it was a bit of a shorter break as well. For NASR, they've had a pretty extended series against Boot Dreamscape. MVP had a little bit of time to kick back and relax and kind of spot out what NASR even did as well. So when we're potentially looking at going on to Mirage, for example, if it even gets there, or a Train, MVP are going to be looking, okay, what did Dreamscape do on Train to get really far ahead? What did NASR do so we can counteract them? Because like I said, this is the grand finals time. This is the part where you go, oh, I've actually got a really cool pocket strap, but because it's the quarterfinals, I better leave it in the strap book for now. This is the part where you bring out everything, and that is a huge nade stack coming out, but still, I mean, no one's dropping down just yet from MVP PK until Breaker comes forward with the CZ to at least clean up a few low HP members. And this is honestly the best round so far looking in for NASR.
Yeah, you say that, but it should still be a fairly clean one here for MVP. Obviously, Glow quite low, but Solo with the AK should be able to have a fairly big impact on this round. 3v2. I mean, there is a bit of armor there for Breaker and Havoc, but they need to find themselves a gun. I don't know that they're going to be able to do that. Like I said, Solo with the AK should be the one having the impact here, and it seems to be fairly cleanly wrapped up.
Breaker's on the right bomb site though, and all it requires is a few shots out of the CZ, well timed, but he might be peeking. Oh no, he just checks lobby at the wrong time. Minizetta, he makes contact, dropping the Molotov, but you can see he's playing around this smartly. He realizes the CT can actually push through this. Buying enough time, Solo, gonna hear the drop. This is gonna allow MVP to play around this accordingly.
Well, 9-0 now for MVP. And NASR definitely struggling quite a lot. Army again going to coming out with the AWP in this round. I don't know what NASR can do at this point. MVP are just absolutely steamrolling them. You got a lot of utility this round, NASR. I mean, to be fair, like MVP haven't necessarily been rushing, so early round utility isn't something that you can even say, oh, NASR just need to be throwing early round utility, and maybe that's going to stop MVP. They've been playing quite methodically. They've been rotating around the map. They've been playing all the angles, and NASR just haven't looked comfortable on this CT side. MVP this time a little bit quicker out from Zeph, and he's going to catch Nami with a grenade in his hand. This should be a 2-for-0 actually at this point for MVP, as Breaker's caught out of position as well, doesn't have that crossfire set up to work with, and NASR again are playing a 3v5.
At least they're all on the right bomb site though, and all it requires is just one big individual effort just to step up and really fire up the team. But as you're saying, it's an MVP. They're just changing up the pace to whatever suits them, and the pace is right now the go signal into the A bomb site. Havoc doesn't really have the higher ground advantage, but at least he still has KitKat to make sure that he's applying a little bit of pressure in this lockers area. The rest of MVP, though, slowly encroaching onto the site, and Greens, he's just not aware that there's going to be a player inside the Annex area. Havoc still trying to dance around, desperately trying to stay alive and try to get as many kills as he can. He's doing quite well. 2 men traded out, but it's still not going to be enough. KitKat, they know that he was going to be in lockers, but he's already rotated out. Slowly going to be walking in from lobby. This is not a safe situation. He's got to be trying to go for it.
Yeah, but such a difficult task now ahead for him, as there's obviously 2 players. Zion kind of gets caught napping a little bit there, but Glow's in a pretty decent position up here on the rafters. Easily dispatches of KitKat, avoiding the flashbang nicely. 1v1 goes the way of MVP. You can say that was a clutch for Glow, but realistically, it was more of a trade than anything else. 10-0 there for MVP. And like I said, it just feels to me like NASR aren't so comfortable right now on the CT side of Nuke. We're seeing so many kills where MVP finds the side or the back, or a player unaware on that CT side that there could be a peak. So to me, it just feels like the timing is a little bit off here for NASR. They're just not prepared for what MVP is throwing at them.
And they're starting to catch them a little bit off as well. Greens is going to be pushing forward quite easily. They're going to try a crunch, but it's a little bit isolated at the stage. And the T's, they'll be able to hear this push coming in from... they're hearing this push coming in, and they're just nullifying it and just swatting them away. Like it's just annoying flies, pretty much. That is how easy MVP are making it look. And this is, I mean, not easy to watch, because NASR have had a phenomenal run so far, but ppmaybe this is just one too many underdog.
Yeah, maybe one too many fantasies gone the way of NASR, and eventually it's time for reality to come crashing back down. But what I want to see from NASR in this round is a little bit more outers control, Kevin. They have really allowed MVP a lot of space to work with when it comes to outers. We've seen time and time again, MVP have just been able to run in through that area of the map. This time NASR have set themselves up. They've got Nami with the AWP over there. Greens is over there as well. Actually, Nami's over towards the ramp room. I thought the AWP was over towards outers. But regardless, it just doesn't seem to matter at this point. Minizetta with the AWP is the one over towards towards ramp room as well. For MVP, we've got another 4v5 here, and I just fail to see where NASR's actually going to be able to find an opening, because MVP is looking sublime right now.
And here's the thing, right? Zion
Even
is
that,
still,
like an Angel, probably should go the way of KitKat, still goes the way of Zion.
Zion barely took any damage. He took 14 damage. The A4 was just completely off coming in from KitKat. And this is what I mean. The nerves are starting to kick in. NASR is going, how are we going to fight against this pressure coming in? And Nami...
Straight away traded.
Straight away traded. That was something we didn't see so much from Boot Dreamscape earlier on, where Nami was given so much luxury because the spacing was a little bit too loose coming from Boot Dreamscape. You can see MVP might be just down to, I don't know, the compulsory military service, but the boys are just looking like a well-run army unit on the stage.
They are absolutely drilled. You're right, Kevin. They just seem to be working in unison right now. Every time you feel like, oh, there might be a slim chance for NASR in this round, like, oh, Nami just hit a good shot, straight away, like, bam, he's gone straight out of the round.
I mean, you look at this. Greens is just trying to save. That was
a bit messy from Zeph.
I mean, that was pretty bad. Let's be realistic.
Yeah.
Yeah, sure, Greens is able to get a couple of exits here, but the economy is so set for the T side. They can lose everything right now, and it still doesn't matter. And Greens is doing quite well. Minizeta, he's also finally going to shut things down.
Well, that's almost like adding insult to injury. It's like, okay, you're going to lose the round. We'll give you a little bit of hope to get all 4 of us. But nope, in the end, Minizeta will close it out anyway, so you're not going to take that AK on through. And to be honest, like you said, the money is so good for MVP right now that even though they lose 3 guns there, it's actually more impactful for them to take that 1 gun away from NASR than it is for NASR to kill 3 of those T players. Very unlikely that that is ever really going to be the scenario, but MVP, they're just rolling in it at the moment.
Solo hitting it with a nice shot as well. I don't really think it was a nice shot. I think it was a good shot. It was a regulation shot from Green. Solo is just making the most noise in the world.
Yeah.
I don't know. A little bit cheeky there from Solo in my mind. It's like, it's BM, but it's not really BM.
Yeah, that's true. Like, I mean, I guess to be fair, it was a pretty quick shot. But, yeah, I get what you're saying. I'm not sure that Solo's actually really trying to BM there. I think he's probably way beyond that at his age.
Oh no, this is... Man, they've taken a tactical pause, but Minizeta, there's no pause.
It's like you take a tactical pause, but you're coming into this round with 3 UMPs and a couple off for Masters, or it might have been even 4 UMPs, I don't know.
They have to try something at this stage, and... I don't know, it just feels like something's not enough, because MVP, they're not even playing loose. They're just doing the same thing. They're up 12-0, but they're not even going to try and give NASR a single round. Yeah, like, that's what it feels like. The oppression is just there.
Well, that's actually what I want to see from MVP, because like they have been a little underwhelming, in my opinion, in these online qualifiers that we've been watching. But I would just love to see MVP absolutely steamroll here, shut down that dream that NASR did have, and once again solidify themselves as such a strong team within this region, because they've been lacking that for a little while.
I know this is a bit of an off topic, but you know the Penguins of Madagascar, right?
Sure.
I just look at this MVP lineup, and it's pretty much that. I know there's 5 of them.
Yep.
But you can pretty much fit them into the 4 Penguins.
Okay.
Right, you got your captain over there in Solo. You've got your nice little private there in Zion. He's just going, what can I do, Skipper?
Okay.
And I mean...
I'm following along.
And then Zeph is kind of like... I think his name is Ricardo or Rico.
Rico, I think it is.
The one that just eats everything, because Zeph is just, he just plays his role, right?
Yeah, he's like, Rico.
He just does his
Rico,
role, and he just pulls something
Rico
out of
just
nowhere.
like vomits up a walkie-talkie. Yeah, I get what you mean.
And you got Glow, who's the brains. Minizeta, I mean, because he's the new member.
He's a new guy.
Yeah, he's a new guy, so.
He's like, who's the one that always hangs out with them? Is it the Zebra? What's his name? What's the Zebra's name? I can't remember.
This analogy, I guess I burned a little bit.
The analogy did fall apart a little bit, but so has NASR on the CT side. At this point, there's not really much point talking Counter-Strike, because literally all it is MVP absolutely styling on NASR at the moment.
Yeah, I'm going to say this has not been very fun to watch, in all honesty. Fun to watch if you want a T-side take nuke control completely, but not fun because, I mean, Minizeta is just walking in with the AWP, and now Zeph is just coming in. You can see... Like, Solo's just gone, go in, Zeph. And then Zeph goes, okay, boss. I've done it. Now what? Bomb past the parcel. KitKat doing quite a bit of damage, but has to retreat still. AK's leading the charge. It's going to be Glow coming flying forward. And, man, like, even when NASR get the damage done, they can't even get a kill.
Yeah. It's 14-0 first half. This is definitely looking like a 16-0 kind of scenario for me. I've cast a few 16-0s in my time. But none have really felt to me this one-sided. Like, MVP is not even looking close to giving up a round. So usually when it's a 16-0 or something like that, you know, one or two of the rounds are close, someone wins a clutch, and you're like, okay, that might be the nail in the coffin. There hasn't even really been any scenarios where MVP have had to clutch this out now.
Here's the whole thing, right? There were 4 people alive, and I was talking about Penguins and comparing them to MVP because it really feels like MVP can do no wrong at this stage.
Yep.
Oh, okay, Mini Zeta.
Yeah, like just as I say it, they probably end up losing a round here or there. Great shot from Mini Zeta though, like 9 times out of 10 you die there. But Mini Zeta survives. Greens is going to get one here on the cross, and that is going to stop the next player following along. Havoc's also going to be able to find one here, surely. So maybe we've cast a cursed MVP here.
Maybe, yes, NASR can avoid potentially the 15-0 half, but there's still 2 people alive, and that's Glow, who has been coming up so clutch alongside with Mini Zeta. And you can say, but Mini Zeta's so low, maybe this HE is enough. There it is, perfectly timed. They'll be able to pick up, hopefully, their first round, unless Glow can pull up some magic. And even then, it is still so oppressive. You've got a single round in your CT side.
Yeah. If he got the bomb, if he had the bomb down right now, I'd give him a bit of a chance in the 1v3. But look, he's got 40 seconds to work with, so let's see what he can do. But I'm definitely counting him out of this round now. Surely you can't. Surely this one can't happen.
I mean, there's still two CTs alive. He's going to switch out to the York, but he's making quite a bit of noise. And oh my god, he gets the shot into Kit Kat, but thank goodness Greens is watching the angle to make sure that
Thank goodness, Kev. Thank goodness they've got one round.
Yes. And it's still been a very painful half, though. And that feeling of maybe, just maybe, NASR can pull off something on the T side. Man, it is still... It just feels so out of reach.
It does. Well, obviously. Like, 14-1, there's no pretty picture that you can paint right now.
Sometimes I can go, okay, this team has gone down. Old Nuke, for example, I can go, oh, look, this team has only got 2 rounds on the T side. That's rough, but CT side on Nuke, you can definitely take it away. Man, this is not even the case. MVP, they're now on the CT side. You thought, oh, okay, hang on a moment. They're making it look like it's so easy on the T side. Then going on the CT side.
Yeah.
And they're not even messing about. It's just, normally you start seeing the dualies or the CZs or the BM weapons come out. Nope, Zeph's got the kit and the smoke. All USP and Armor ready to duel it out.
Yeah, it's full serious business right now for MVP PK. NASR going to try and do some damage, but it's still favorable there for MVP. 14-1, potentially turning into 15-1 right now. NASR are getting into that B bomb site, but for all the good it's going to do them, I just still back MVP at the moment. Next kill is going to go the way of Solo. It's a trade, though, at least for NASR. 1-for-1. That said, Zion, an untraded frag coming out for him, and Mini Zeta will take the head off Havoc. That's the round for MVP, and that is going to be the map. Surely, NASR cannot come back from this now.
I mean, at what point were they going to come back, Jordan?
Well, I don't know. If they got the pistol and then they got the first, like, 5 gun rounds, then, you know,
and
maybe like 15-6, 15-7, 8, I don't know, and then you'd be like, maybe NASR's looking okay. But, like, it's just impossible. I'm trying to find the silver lining.
Let's see what you put for the notes for MVP, as they just seem to have... What is this on this piece of paper? I don't even...
Don't know, it wasn't me.
Oh, my God. It's like some, I don't know, dubious food juice. All right. On paper, probably best team here. Yes.
Yep.
Yeah, there isn't anything else in the notes that says they were going to absolutely just stomp NASR.
No, definitely not.
At least Breaker's in the vent. That's something.
That's something, yes, but Nami's got 2 HP. MVP definitely not concerned about proceedings so far, as it's the pretty comfortable setup right now for MVP. Mini Zeta's just going to be watching the cross here, and with the scout, there's just one smoke for NASR, which is obviously unfortunate because it leaves a gigantic hole for him to find an opening. Nice kill, though, from Havoc. He's making a bit of noise, however. Needs to be careful of that player jumping down in vent, and that is Zeph who gets the frag. Nice kill for Mini Zeta as well, rotating in through ramp room, and there's the map done and dusted. 16-1, bit anticlimactic in the end there. MVP PK will take the first. 20 kills there for Mini Zeta in, what, 17 rounds. Glows get 18. Like, it's just so easy by the looks of things there for MVP on Nuke. But that is only map 1. That was MVP's map choice. So hopefully NASR are going to be able to do something better in their second map. Let's take a little bit of a break, Kevin. Let's allow NASR to kind of settle things down here a little bit, but we're going to take a break as well. We're going to go into that second map, hoping to see NASR do something better. So don't go anywhere, guys. We'll be back with map number 2.
The best audio setting is the one you're comfortable with, so you can act and react anytime. Intuitive touch panel for treble and bass adjustment. With driverless design, you just plug and play. Everyone grips the mouse differently, so how can one mouse work for all? Different sizes and shapes for your options. Pick the one that fits your grip for long-lasting comfort and gameplay. With driverless design, you just plug and play.
As far as I know, everyone on the team who has tried the new screen from BenQ is using the feature with 240 Hz. It's so amazing, the transition is so great.
I think for me the most important when I play the game is that I feel that all my actions directly represented on the monitor. This is just another level on top of that, I would say.
It improves your gameplay a lot. You can react much faster on these kinds of monitors, and like once you play on 240 Hz, you can't go back.
Personalize the way you see everything, and then conquer. Exclusive black equalizer brightens dark scenes without overexposing bright areas. Use the S switch to quickly access the setting and switch between save modes. Adjust the angle effortlessly for maximum comfort.
Hi everyone, welcome back. Thanks for bearing with us. Unfortunately, it took a little while for the parcel with all the GoTV IPs in it to arrive here in Australia from China, but we're finally into map number 2. Map 2, of course, is Train. It's 4-0 already for MVP PK. And to be honest, I don't think you've missed too much because MVP have essentially been continuing what we saw there on Nuke. NASR have so far been unable to stand up to them.
Yeah, I mean, a single round one so far in the last 21 rounds of Counter-Strike that we've seen. I mean, you say parcel, I also thought a shark might have bitten through a cable again.
Yeah.
Look, it happens, right? And then all of a sudden you got 400 ping to Asia. Look, it happens. At the end, NASA still haven't picked up a round. They got a buy at the very least, but they lose the first initial pick. Mini Zeta's already got the AWP up. Zion's also dancing around Ivy and just being an absolute nuisance. And it just doesn't look like NASA. They have a real way into the A bomb site. They've got 2 smokes, 1 single HE grenade. Zeph is just gone, oh, might as well go for a bit of a journey. Oh, look, your SL player's dead.
Yeah, first gun round or second gun round here by the looks of things for NASA. Has not worked out too nicely at all. Green's trying to salvage it though and getting a little bit of presence in toward the A bomb site. So maybe there's a chance here for NASA in this one.
Well, look, I mean, look where Solo is already. Solo's just pushing in and he just goes, you know what? You can't have any information whatsoever. And even now, Zion is still alive at hell. Zeph, he's going to be in a position where he can just push in 20 seconds left on the timer. That is clearing out SL, but he's just making a hell of a ton of noise just to put more pressure once again. Open plant, nothing to cover. Look, you might as well just call it done.
Yeah, I think you might. It's 8 seconds left. Zion will close out that final kill. Easy does it for MVP. 3 AKs, nope, 2 AKs and an AWP. Even better for MVP, taken through from that round. 5-0 now on the CT side. And, well, NASA, I don't know what to say, but something needs to change from Nuke, and it evidently hasn't started off properly here on Train. You look at their T sides against Boot Dreamscape, and they seem pretty reasonable. The CT sides is where they struggled, so to see them struggling again here on the T side of Train, it's a really, really scary prospect.
I think this is down to MVP that individually, right, they were looking really good on Nuke. It looks like they're starting to carry this form forward as well. No one's just outstanding fragging outside of Zeph, who decided that he was giving all his energy over on Nuke, and he's decided to take some of that now. And for NASA, I guess, like, one of the problems that I did see on Train is that if they are unable to get the positions and get the smokes down, what then? They start struggling in the mid-game calls, and that's where MVP starts excelling because they've got so much experience, they're able to adapt. You can see Zeph, he pushes in, he gets the kill, and then NASA, they have no idea how to respond from there because it's so difficult to. Why does Zion still only have an MP9? Like, Havoc's just committed out here with a bomb by himself, and you just can't do that into SL.
Yeah, no, Zion's going to shut 2 of them down. That's a bit of extra cash in the bank. Mini Zeta already displaying some nice shots with the AWP. Nothing too crazy for him there, but always good to be hitting shots like that. Just a bit of a confidence builder. 5-0, going to quickly turn into 6-0 here. NASA not doing a whole lot there on that pistol round, which, I mean, to be fair, you're probably not expecting too much, but given the fact that they're 6-0 down or 5-0 down, soon to be 6-0 down, it's not going to be filling me with a whole lot of confidence, and this is their map pick as well, Kevin. So, you know, we haven't seen too much from them. Obviously, we missed the first 4 rounds. Obviously, there hasn't been that much gun rounds, or that many gun rounds so far for NASA, but this is their map pick, right? So you want to be seeing some good strategies. You want to be seeing them look comfortable here on this T side and have at least something to show against MVP. But so far, 0 on the scoreboard.
Here's the problem, right? As far as I know, this is NASA's first big major grand final tournament.
Yep, on LAN.
And for MVP, how many times have they been inside this situation? How many times have these guys been on LAN? I said it before in the previous map, and people go, oh, but NASA did so well in the semifinals and the quarterfinals. It's a completely different beast. It's like you can perform well in regionals, but when it comes to the Olympic level, the pressure is just so much more.
Yeah, 100%.
There's a difference between running in a heat and even a semi-finals into, oh, actually, this is it. This is like the prize money at the moment. And this is where MVP just kick things into the 6th gear because they know exactly how to get away with the aggression. They know exactly what they need to do. And for NASA, this is where the nerves are getting to them.
And every single round that goes the way of MVP as well is going to be putting more and more and more and more pressure onto NASA at the moment. So far in this match, they have won 1 round. It's 22-1 at the moment in the favor of MVP.
And I think this is a really big shame because a lot of people will look at this match and go, wow, this is the huge gap. I don't think there's a necessarily huge gap between, say, for example, if NASA were able to hit their shots and they were starting to compose themselves. But the gap here is effectively the experience, right? I think NASA have had a dream Dark Horse run.
Yep.
I think if we looked in it, I would have said they're maybe about 5th or 6th team in there.
I would say
if they
so.
got,
Yeah,
we could see that
somewhere.
we knew Nami was really, really solid in the group stages he was performing. If they were able to bring that form forward into their quarterfinals, into the semifinals, we saw that. He dropped a 40 on Inferno in overtime. It just hasn't carted over to this one because MVP have been able to nullify all of this. Now, NASA, this is the best chance they have, and look where Zephyr's put himself. A 1-for-1. That's probably the best case that NASA could hope for at this stage. 4-3. You've got Nami here with the AWP on the retake. Let's go, NASA. You need to get this one on the board.
Yeah, absolutely. KitKat is in a good spot here. Solo will check it, but with an AWP at that angle, not going to work out too nicely for him. Kind of funny. Trying to retake the AWP. Retake the side double AWP, obviously not going to be too ideal here for MVP. I think if Solo would have had a rifle there, might have been a different story. But end of the day, it does look like NASR will get away with their first round here. Kind of feels like a little bit of a soft one there from MVP. They sort of fully stacked over toward the A-bomb site. Zeph only able to get one as the players entered onto B, and then the retake with double AWP. Like, it's always going to be tough for MVP.
Doesn't matter how you get the rounds at the stage. Doesn't matter that KitKat, he just finally comes in and he goes, all right, I actually need to start fragging at this stage. I need to go get 4 headshots. I just need to play with the confidence like all the players have been playing with the confidence in the semifinals. Just got to do it. And it secures in the first round, and you may go, this is such a long slog, but you just get one more, the CT economy is reset, and then another one, and then NASA go, hang on a moment, we're only 3 behind. It's been a shocker, but at least we're still getting these rounds. They settle the nerves down, they go, we can do this. You can see our boy called KitKat, he sounds really cute, but he's just breaking heads. Why can't the rest of the players do it as Glow just goes, stop?
Looks like there's
lads, it's called exclamation mark tech. Everyone else from MVP are like, stop, please. And then Zion's the other one. It's like, oh, Hyung, the word is tech.
Yeah. Come on, boys. TS problem. All right. I think that's fair enough because no one spotted each other. Very, very quick backup of the round. That's nice to see.
You know what would be nice to see as well? A TS build that works.
Yeah, well, I'm not sure. There's been actually a lot of TS problems.
I actually think it's because I remember looking at a bit of the chat logs in one of the matches, and I think it's because the newest build of TeamSpeak have these connectivity issues. So I really like this graphic.
Yeah, that's us, by the way, because unfortunately we can't be on camera for this broadcast. We've got a little designated graphic for pauses and that kind of thing, so you know who's talking. Yeah, I don't know what the issue is there with TeamSpeak because I have a TeamSpeak server and mine seems to be going okay. But I mean,
do you update your client a lot? Not the server client, but the actual client.
Yeah, you have to update the client when when the server updates. You have to update the client.
Right, because I generally don't update that often for my client. So oh no, this is talking time into fragging time for Solo. NASA pick up their first round, and they've done well in terms of they've got the first round, the second round so far in the series, but. It just looks even harder because Zeph has managed to push into inners here and he looks like he wants more.
Yeah, definitely not a great start in this round for NASA. We talked about how if they were going to come back into this matchup, they would need to get this next round, reset the CT economy, start to build there to 6-3, and, then it starts to look okay. But unfortunately, starting off with a player deficit, being able to pull it back, though, by Nami, that's okay. 6-1. It could potentially turn into 6-2 here. That's the dream for NASA, maybe 6-3. A shot missed there by Minizetta is going to give the opening over, but Solo, such a strong angle being held by him.
Look where Zion is. He's right behind them at this stage, and he's just going to be dancing around and just playing for the time at this stage. Zion eventually shut down, but Havoc is just so low, and MVP still managed to take 2 AWPs into the next round. They've got enough money to buy up. They understand that the T-side economy is going to be pretty shocking, and some of the members, you count, okay, they could have kept 2 rifles. That means they have money for 2 people. We can expect maybe 2 AKs, maybe an AWP if we're really unlucky, but we can roll forward from here.
Yeah, well, it'd be very, very unlikely that NASR's going to grab an AWP in this round. Even if they do go 2 AKs into this one, I'm not so sure I'm sold on that idea. I guess at this point, if you're NASR, you probably have to be taking a risk like that, just to try and catch MVP off guard, try and reset that economy and try and get this first half of train going rolling at the moment. But so far, still, rounds continuing to build up for MVP and not much can be said at the moment for NASR. Another tactical pause out for NASR in that round as well. Discussion around what the buy is going to be, probably looking like it's going to eventuate into not much of a buy for NASR, which is the percentage play, I suppose. But just giving away 3 rounds right now to MVP is not going to be a good feeling for this NASR roster.
Glow's just spotted out the foot of Greens, and that really feels like the difference at the end, is that MVP, they see a single pixel, they make a complete tree out of it. But NASR, tree's fallen down.
Yep.
It's been cut by a chainsaw.
The tree might not have existed at all, actually, in this final.
Unfortunately not, and like once again, I don't think this is NASR's caliber in essence. They're not showing up, they're getting punished for it, and ultimately at the end of the day,
yeah, look at this.
It's finals. They have to be showing up. The series will be showing itself to be very one-sided at the way it's going. I mean, MVP are looking to a very dominant victory.
Oh, for sure. Like, this is not even close, Kevin.
This has literally been the fastest game I've done all this weekend so far.
Yeah.
The series is it's
yeah,
what
we had a few 16-3s on the first day, but we've had a 16-1 already from MVP, and
wasn't it 16-0?
No,
they 16-0 some fools, didn't they?
Oh, I mean, today on Nuke against NASR was a 16-1. They could get another 16-1 here. Like, it's probably unlikely, I want to say.
How does Solo just get away with getting a kill every single time? Finally, Havoc decides he's had enough, but still Glow does the drive-by. Zeph dropping a few nades, and Kit Kat, once again, it's Kit Kat, but Solo's still alive here, and he's just going to be dancing around with the AWP. It doesn't matter how you're going to be contesting him. It still feels like he's snapping necks, cashing checks. At least there's a 2-on-3, something for NASR to work with in terms of they got a lot of time. They can definitely explode out to a bomb site. It's just not favorable, once again. Oh, Nami managed to get the timing pick on design. Probably spotted out the shadow there. This is the best opportunity they've got so far. Breaker still has the bomb, though, and man, he looks away just at the wrong time.
All right, Nami. Superstar of this NASR roster, now or never. Time to step up.
How is he going to step up? Like, there's superstar, and then there's just ridiculous levels of flying up a ladder and no-scoping a cunt. Like,
you got to do what you got to do, Kevin. 8-1 and 18 HP for Nami. They need to be doing something right now on that NASR side. Like, absolutely, they're absolutely cooked at the moment, but something needs to be done.
The save's going to happen.
The save, I guess. But, like, what are you going to do? You're giving another round over to MVP. I understand the reason. I understand, NASR. I understand why they want to save the ult through here, but, like, it's 9-1 now. It's got to stop at one point sometime. Someone has to do something for NASR, and someone has to step up and take this round, take this match by the balls. At the moment, it's MVP. Absolutely stomping all over NASR.
Have they, I mean, I've just realized, I haven't seen their first buy round, but I'm just wondering if they throw in a fast A-site execute. Just one wall of smokes, and then afterwards they wait for some of the counter utility, and then they throw another set of smokes and flashbangs to go fast, because, go on lads, got to be doing something better than this. This is not the same intensity that we even saw these lads bring against the Chiefs, for example. We can see that these guys have a functional T-side. They're not helpless chooks.
At the moment, they're looking like it.
They're looking
MVP.
like it at the moment.
MVP's making them look like it. Okay, well, if not the last round for Nami, fair enough. But you've saved the op through, and now it's time to do something with it.
All right, it's hightailing it. Yeah, I mean, they're grouping up around this SL area, but it feels like when you're moving around the wide halls position for NASR, it just doesn't feel like they've got a good idea what's going on at this stage. And MiniZ is just picking up Ivy at this stage as well. It's gotten quite a bit of decent information. Incendiary Grenade comes out to deny any more T-Con control, and you still got Zion on top of the blue train, not proceeding beyond a certain threshold. But jump spot from one of the Ts will spot him out. Breaker going to jump around and try to land these headshots. Zion is already low from the Deagle shots earlier on, so at the very least an M4 retrieved.
Yep, it's a start, but it's very, very quickly put to an end by MVP. Again, this is very similar to Nuke, where it felt like NASR would get a small sort of glimpse into a round. They would think, okay, we got a kill, we got a pick, or whatever. And then straight away, MVP would take the trades and bring them back and absolutely decimate NASR. This is the third tactical timeout that NASR have used in this first half. We're 11 rounds in and 3 out of your 4 tactical timeouts are gone. You know something is going wrong right now for NASR.
I honestly just feel bad for them.
Yeah.
Like I said, this is not the NASR that needed to turn up and play, and like you look at this, Greens is sitting on 1 kill. He's been performing so well. To falter at this last step, this is the hardest challenge of truly pushing yourself into this upper echelon, is learning how to bring the performance out when you need it. And this might just be another learning experience, a blip in the road, and I mean, you can't take anything away from MVP PK, is that they're just looking way too strong. They've just been amping up their form overall through the entire series. It was looking pretty tight against Flash Gaming earlier on today. I mean, it felt like so long ago that Flash Gaming actually even took a map off NASR. It happened, 16-14, but even that was a struggle. And it wasn't even close in the other games as well. This series, to say even if it was like some rounds were close, it's still probably a far-fetched statement.
Yeah, definitely MVP have come out to play in this LAN environment. It's been a while since we saw them in a LAN environment against teams of this caliber, and it is showing. MVP, they've been touted as one of the best in the region for such a long time, and this is why. You know, they've had some up and down results online lately, but end of the day, if they're able to walk out onto a LAN like this and just dominate the grand final this hard, then I think it tells quite a story. But 3v3 in the round here. NASR get the bomb down. Best chance now for a round that they've had in quite a long time.
Greens, he's the man that really needs to be fragging up at the stage. Minizetta missing a shot. Now it's all down to Greens landing a few good flicks. This is exactly what you need. It's all down to Zeph. They know where he's going to be. The T's also just going to be repositioning themselves to make sure that the CT does not have a good way back into this round. There's no smokes, no utility for him to use. Shoulder of Breaker is going to be spotted out, but Green still has a crossfire, so even if Zeph takes that deal, Green should be able to clean up. And that is, once again, just an individual stepping up from NASR to at least grab a single round. But is it going to be enough still? At least they're able to bring it back. That was something they weren't able to do earlier on.
Well, bring it back. Define bring it back right now.
Getting at least more than 1 round. They've got it. They've done it.
Well, that's definitely, well, they've doubled their round count from Nuke. So I suppose you're right. It's better for NASR than what it was, but it's still very much leaning on the side of MVP. We're going to see a bit more of a split play now from NASR in toward Ivy. Minizetta going to be under some pressure. Will back away with that AWP. Now Zion hiding in a smoke between the 2 trains in Sandwich. Bomb's been dropped now by MVP PK, so full rotation is going to come across. The trades working okay right now for NASR, but they need to get that bomb picked up, and Zion is still causing so much havoc, dancing around the trains right now, and it's a bit of a role reversal as NASR, with their final player Breaker, are in the position where the CTs normally are, and the CTs are in the position where the Ts normally are. But rotating over to the B bomb site right now is Breaker. He will be able to get the bomb down here fairly safely. It's going to be an open plant, another reasonable opportunity to win a round, and it's a clutch that is a must-win for him.
He can't clutch this out. The problem with that open plant is that if he's able to sell the fact that Zion is just too good. He realizes he clears on the back of the flashbang to make sure that Breaker's not trying to make a play. They're still retrieving the double AWP as well. Breaker tried making the correct play, in my mind, in that situation, where he's trying to split the CTs up, where he's trying to buy time so he can reposition himself into a favorable position with that AWP. But he's just hesitant because he doesn't know where Zeph is. Zeph is that B-side player. He could be anywhere. That singles moment hesitation really just cost him that clutch. It was still very hard for him to complete. But Zion, you know who Zion is the complete opposite of, but still frags as hard as? Complete opposite of Liaz. Very different playstyles.
Yeah.
Still mad fraggers, don't get me wrong. But Liaz is more of a support-orientated player who's there to clean up. Zion is that explosive one that gets all your entries working. Liaz looks like he's pretty sad most of the time. Zion looks like he's happy most of the time. So once again, pretty polar opposites there.
Yep. Throwing a bit of shade, but all right. Anyway, I'm sure there's no reason for Zion to be disappointed at the moment because things are going perfectly for MVP.
Have you ever seen Zion unhappy? He's
No,
just
that's true.
he's just a happy little chappy.
Yeah, no, that's true. I mean, he's always fragging, so no reason to be unhappy, I suppose. 12-2, and I literally, like, I haven't seen or felt like a round where MVP have really been in too much trouble. Like, they've lost a couple, but like, whatever. You're up 12-2. You got heaps of money. Who cares? close out the half, 13-2, 12-3. Really doesn't matter for MVP at this point. NASR would love 3. At least that gives them a chance. I mean, does it? I don't know. Probably
I don't
not.
know at this stage because they're still, I mean, they pick off Solo, but oh my goodness, how does Havoc get that kill completely blinded? They're still making these entries work out, but Zeph has rotated so far back around. Mini Zeta out with the pistol. They're all down to a 1-on-1 at the moment. Zeph up against Greens, and Zeph. Oh man, even when NASR get the entries, MVP can just... They can just brawl it out. They
17-5 for Zeph, 17-8 for Solo, the standout performers here, but across the board, very much a team effort there from MVP. Unfortunately, no individuals stepping up on the side of NASR to really give them a chance.
Who would your MVP for MVP be?
It's kind of hard to pick out one individual player.
They've
been
playing honest. So well in the finals as a unit.
Like you can't go and say, oh look, Zion or Mini Zeta or whatever, because it's just a steamroll. Every single player would have probably put, if you put any of these MVP players in any other MVP player's position, they would have fragged just as hard. I think at this point, it's just a case of who actually gets the opportunity to frag before everyone else is dead. That's what it feels like right now. I know that's kind of harsh to say, really, but like. NASR haven't been close in this matchup, and there's no way to kind of sugarcoat that at this point. So it is what it is. Unfortunately for NASR, they don't seem to be able to challenge in this grand final. Worst case scenario for NASR, it's a learning experience. This is one of their biggest tournaments, their biggest finals, and their biggest events that they've been able to participate in. And in a LAN setting like this, they don't have that much experience, at least at a big LAN. So I think for NASR, like I said before the grand final started, regardless of the way that this grand final does turn out, it's been a good performance. It's been a great performance from NASR. And this is just an experience opportunity for them where hopefully next time, later on down the track, they're going to be able to do a bit of a better job.
Oh, look at this information. Look at the stack from the B bomb site. This has to work out at the moment. There's no smoke for the T's to use. You've got 2 ready to fly up this SL. You've got Nami, who's just pushed all the way through Ivy and's found everything that he needs. 40 seconds left. Glow still going to be trying to hold on to this SL area, spotting out a few gunshots, but there's going to be one wrapping back around. What? Glow, you can't just be charging at your opposition. That's not how this game works. I mean, Nami and Breaker, they're getting a few more kills. The bomb is lost, and NASR finally managed to pick up another round. Sign. You can say he's a happy lad, but happiness is not going to win him this round because the bomb's lost completely away from him. All the CTs are alive. NASR getting aggressive. I like it.
Yeah, maybe the start of something beautiful for NASR here, but I don't know. I'm not going to be prepared to get too far ahead of myself. Zion will be dropped eventually. MVP likely to invest into this round. They did not manage to get the bomb down. So pistol on armor coming out. One would imagine. Looks like not much of an investment. So, oh no, there we go. Trolled me MVP. I was going to say maybe they might like to try and get the bomb down in this round so that they can get the AK buy through in round 3. But they've gone for the pistol investment. This is the standard play. Nothing too surprising out from MVP just yet.
They've also got a single smoke to work with. It really depends if Zion's actually just trying to take Ivy control here or if he's just going to go and wait for some early aggression and then fall back. I don't think he should use his smoke here. I don't think he should gift it over. Maybe just show a bit of a shoulder. Tease the CTs a little bit, try to reel them in, then head back into Inners and hit it. Inners is always the easiest site to hit as the T side, and already one's just down. I mean, Zeph is already just walking in. Havoc, he might not spot it out, but it looks like he is playing a little bit more than 4x3. He's got his blinkers wide open.
Well, not too bad for NASR in this round. At least so far. Take it one round at a time. That's the way you start to come back from a deficit like this. You think about the match as a whole and you probably overwhelm yourself with pressure, but you just need to be thinking, okay, we need to win this one round, win the next round, etc., etc. Zion, though, is going to grab a kill onto a Breaker.
How do they have so much positioning already? What is going on from the CT side? They're positioned so far back, and oh my god, no, this is
the darkest timeline right now for NASR. KitKat heavily tagged up there, and Glow will finish things off 14-3 for MVP, and they win the Pistol Armor by, even despite losing that first player. They just walk into the bomb site. Players not looking in the right direction for NASR. Again, not looking comfortable on this CT side, and MVP PK, they say thank you very much for the free kills.
Feels bad, man. I just want to cry at this stage because NASR, they get the first pick. Havoc is pushing in for information in as they should know exactly what's going on. It's either going to be T Connector, SL and whatnot, but they make the gamble at wrong place. They think it's SL and T Connector, not the Ivy area, and Zine just dry walks out. There's no flashbangs. There's nothing. He just dry walks down and gets the shots. I mean, NASR have forced brought back into this. Oh, man. This is just painful. Oh, my goodness.
It's painful for NASR, that's for sure. Minizetta is having the time of his life with that scout. Always love a good couple of scout headshots.
There's just white stuff every moment at the studio after those two shots.
It only needs snow. 14-3 though for MVP. This is looking like a foregone conclusion. End of the day, to be honest, this grand final has really been MVPs from the start.
I mean, Minizetta just single-handedly summed it up. He's not even looking anywhere near them, and then he just still headshots two of them in a row. And then NASR just go, all right, must have been watching the angle. They're going to go back and go, actually, he wasn't watching the angle. He was watching close near two, and that was about it. Man, it's all down to Breaker now to just try to do a little bit of damage, but it's going to be not only match point and series point, it's going to be the championship points as well. $40,000 dudes.
Yeah. Match point up for MVP PK, 15-3. It would be a grand total of 4 rounds in the grand final for NASR in this one, which would definitely be disappointing, I'm sure, for them. But at the end of the day, this was always going to be a very difficult match for them. And MVP, they were touted as the best team coming into Extremesland, and they most certainly have delivered on that front.
And they've delivered it with just what seems to be apparent ease as well into potentially what could be the final round at the moment. That's not a good start. 1-for-1 trade though, but players are still coming out of Ivy. Zion going to be making contact alongside with Zeph. They're still going to be pressuring in. Nami, he's done a lot of damage. Breaker's alive at Sandwich, but how much of a fight can he really put up? It's still going to be a 2-on-2.
Well, a chance at least for NASR. Havoc coming around the back with the 5-7 at least is going to be able to salvage something for his side. It's 15-4. Money is a little bit, well, interesting for MVP. I'll put it that way. They could potentially force buy through into this round, depending on how quickly they want to close things out. Looks like that is going to be the option. Zeph will throw that over to Minizetta, who will then subsequently throw it over to Zion. Interesting choice.
Might have the best spawn for it, so you want him fast out to your connector, getting that pick on the angle. So
I suspect the ult will be thrown back to Minizetta after Zion does take a peek here. Yeah, exactly, because Zion does have the CZ. So no reason for Minizetta to be running around with just a Glock. Havoc has spotted Zeph out, and that'll be a kill for him, taking a bit of an extra duel against Solo, but he will get out of there alive, so good start in this round for NASR.
I just don't like how they're repositioning themselves. Got to settle the nerves down a little bit. Let's not move around too much, lads. We've only seen one person so far. We've got a full belter utility on some... Okay, I shouldn't say full belt, but we still have some nades to use in our players. Let's just play around this position accordingly. And I like this. They're trying to take control of T Connector, and they don't have the flashbangs. They're going to use manpower to do it. All right, so it's either going to be B at the moment because they've spotted something, or it's going to be Ivy.
Force that incendiary out from Havoc over here on B, but he's not seeing too much just yet. VP now showing their hand, poking out from Ivy, taking the kill onto Breaker, brings it back to a 4v4, now a 4v3 as Minizetta sets up nicely on a line. KitKat's position, unexpected there though by Solo, so it's turned into a 2v2 right now. Bomb will go down by Minizetta, but two angles to watch right now for MVP. KitKat giving away his position, and this might be the pincer strike that NASR need to win the round. Glow in the 1v2.
He can try to play around the smoke as well. They're still very scared that he's going to be at heaven. There could be a potential of him making his way up, but you can see he's just sitting at the A2 area, waiting for Havoc to peek in. I think it's not going to be a favorable angle for Havoc, but he still lands the shot. And NASR still keeping in it, still staying alive. Round by round. Still so tough.
But for how much longer, Kevin? For how much longer? You want to win 10 rounds more in a row? They would have to win 12 rounds in a row to make it back to overtime.
They gotta believe.
It just, well, I don't believe.
I mean, of course, that's what the odds are, right?
It's impossible. Surely it's impossible here for NASA.
I'm gonna channel the spirit of our friend who's not here today, one Ian Sniper Turner of Athletico fame. He once said, "There is never such thing as impossible things in Counter-Strike."
No,
Very small,
yeah,
very small chance that NASA can take
There
it,
is,
but it is. It's about the chances of me receiving praise from my dad.
Ouch.
Never gonna happen.
That got a little bit too real too quick. MVP PK, very, very much likely still to win this one, but it is dragging on a little bit, and that's good to see from NASR, at least salvaging a little bit of pride here. Regardless of how this map does end up, they've at least avoided, you know, something like a 16-1 again. So you can say that NASR did sort of at least fight back in some senses. How much longer that is going to last, how long they're going to actually be able to fight back, and if they can get to overtime, we are yet to see. I'm counting them out here. I think that's pretty fair to say, but maybe they'll surprise us. Maybe this is the greatest comeback in Counter-Strike history.
I wouldn't say history just yet. I'd say that
If they make it happen, if they reverse sweep it from a 16-1,
I honestly think
it might be.
I think the most amazing turnaround for me was IM Sydney, where Astralis were up 10-1 on train.
Yeah.
And I remember I was talking with Dino at the time, and I was going, and his son was there, and I was saying, even if they're up 10-1, you can never say FaZe have lost or
No.
Astralis can lose, because Counter-Strike is a game of possibilities. Anything can happen. And guess what happened? They came back.
Yeah.
I'm not saying this is 100% going to happen for NASA. But if you don't play to win at this stage, if you just try to go, oh, we're just playing for a little bit of pride, a little bit of respect, you never know.
Yeah, definitely. It's going to take another, I'd say, 6 rounds in a row from NASA for me to start to believe
There
that they
had to
can
be
actually do this.
convincing rounds as well. Like, so far, there haven't
True.
been convincing rounds of winning. MVP is still being able to get all the entries that tickle, which tickle my fancy and tick all the right boxes. But a couple of little mistakes, like Mini Zeta, you know there's a player around aircon, so you're going to jump into connector. Like, come on, man. Like, that's not something you'd be doing if it was, say, for example, 10 apiece. I mean, Counter Flash is coming out. Breaker's still fighting and still coming out on top, almost, but out comes Glow. Oh, no, this might be the end right now, Jordan.
Yeah, it just always seems like MVP do one better. There's a cheeky one, though, from KitKat. Little bit better for NASA. Brings it back to the 3v3. A lot of damage done over to MVP. Can foresee NASA winning this round. It's definitely not out of the realms of possibility. They're taking a little bit of time to get themselves settled here. The bomb has been recollected and rotating back in towards the T spawn. The linchpin right now is going to be Glow. If he gets picked or finds a pick, that is going to be huge for whichever side does end up coming out ahead in that scenario.
Where is Zion going to be smoking off? This is going to be a critical smoke that the Ts will have to use, but look at NASA making this gamble. That is a sick flashbang, actually, to allow Glow peeking out for a bit of information. It's not rewarded with any kills, but it now really makes NASA believe it's going to be the A-bomb site, and this is the correct call coming out from MVP. They decide to go to the B-bomb site instead. There is no one there. Havoc, that B-site anchor, is already rotated back into the A-bomb site. The bomb's going to go down. There is no chance the CTs can stop it at the moment. It's really Glow just doing more and more damage. Havoc finally picks up Glow on the lurk, but I think they now know what's going on.
At the very least, that isn't Glow finding 2 kills and putting it into a 3v1. It's a 2v2. It's a winnable scenario here for NASA, but look at the positioning of MVP. This is such a strong position right now for MVP. NASA is not going to be able to check that at all, and this is going to come down to the very, very late round. A 1v2, really, where someone's sitting on the bomb, and the player is going to have to try and cover off against the 2 peekers.
Havoc should be sitting this at the moment. Now the T's are peeking in. That's a good shot coming in from Havoc. Now Solo coming in, same angle. He's coming in, same angle. But, oh my goodness, Havoc, he still lands a shot. Another one to keep NASA in the game. It always comes down to these clutch situations. But they're still getting the rounds.
They are still getting those rounds, but they are becoming ever more dangerous for NASA at this point. MVP starting to do damage to that economy. We're going to be seeing a decent buy through here, though, for NASA. And should be one more eco out from MVP. So NASA, again, another round on the board, another little bit of hope headed in their direction. And the percentages do start to shift. What was 99% chance for MVP to win, 1% for NASA now sort of feels a little bit more like 90-10, something like that. Still very much heavy on the side of MVP, but at least NASA are coming back into this. At least they're giving us some form of a contest here in this grand final.
That's it. a contest that we're having on our hands at the moment, but unfortunately it could be shut down all in one moment's notice. That's a bit of a, I guess, a downer in terms of this instance. MVP with 13 rounds maybe, and NASR was 7 and 8, and maybe we could call for a bit of a comeback. For the odds, they still seem insurmountable, even though NASR have been able to clutch out a few rounds here and there.
Yeah, you're definitely not wrong. 4v4 though, another round that NASR are going to have to win. I feel like a broken record at this point. There's not so much more to say about it. This situation is not going to change.
Look at Havoc pushing in if he gets the timing.
Ooh, well, at least he survives. That's pretty important.
Oh no, he's
not too much longer.
He stuck around for a little bit too long. He was really scared someone's coming in from uppers. He spotted out at least a bomb carrier, but with 40 seconds left, the T's can still rotate down SL. They've got Ivy control as well. Breaker, Nami, Greens, you've got to be stepping up right now for your country.
Yeah, definitely, and Breaker has found the first, another for him as well. NASR starting to stabilize in this round. 30 seconds left. MVP don't have any control of the bomb sites, and they're going to have to work their way in very, very quickly indeed. It's Solo and Mini Zeta, just the AKs left alive. Bomb spotted out there on the blue train. Mini Zeta at least able to trade back Breaker, and still trying to do some damage to that CT economy, but another round the way of NASR. 8 is up. And last round I said there should be an eco from MVP. Well, they force into it. This time I do want to see an eco from MVP. Make sure you can get a good buy in the next. There's no reason to force into AKs and armor right now. Just get some good gun rounds behind your belt.
Man, and just imagine if this NASR, how they're playing at the moment with this intensity turned up just a little bit earlier.
Yeah.
It's just, finally they've come to play. And, oh, okay, tech pause. Stop. 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 Oh, you know what time it is?
I think stop in Korean is Moncho. Just random trivia.
Alt-tab by mistake.
What, Havoc?
Oh,
you can't alt-tab, man. This is the grand final. All right. What's going on?
I can imagine the screaming that happens. It's like, I've alt-tab, stop it.
Yeah.
Re! Probably no re, but...
To throw the re in. Okay. Looks like a very, very quick technical pause. That's all good. We'll be the pistol armor out from MVP. Good to see. Let's see if NASR can grab another round. Literally all it is at this moment is just, but can NASR get another round? Okay, they get it. All right, can they get the next round? Okay, can they get the next round? We're going to get there all the way to, 15-13, 15-14, where we really start to believe that NASR might be able to bring this back to overtime.
But they've allowed one into uppers, and Zeph just lurking in with the deagle. Finds a few body shots onto Nami, but can't get the kill. Havoc's going to make sure he's going to assist to make sure his AWP is safe, and a clean round from NASR. And normally I say, look, they're letting the bank build up. This is good, but it doesn't matter.
Doesn't matter. Well, maybe. Maybe it's a confidence thing, right?
It is.
15-9.
It is a confidence thing, but every single time you just launch it around, you hear the da-dong, match point.
Yeah, that's true.
It's just so much pressure on these lads. I don't know how they're doing it. 6 more rounds. They've gotten 6 in a row now.
Yep.
6 more.
They've done 6. They can do it again.
Exactly. But MVP, this is where they can just go for, I don't know, they could just even make a full inners rush at this stage. Like, I haven't even thrown that one in yet.
You just keep going back to the fact that all it's going to take is one mistake from NASR or one big clutch play out from MVP, and that is the map done. NASR haven't given themselves any room here at all.
Man, Glow's already snuck out into the sandwich smoke as well. All it takes is a single flashbang or a smoke popping forward, and that's what I'm talking about, is that a single shot might be the one, might be just enough to change.
Look at this. Oh, dearie me, Glow gets around the back, but Nami hits a great shot, keeps his teammate alive, keeps himself alive. You could see Disaster running along the A-bomb site right there, and its name was Glow, but in the end, shut down. NASR survive, at least for the moment.
All right, Havoc, you're going to have to be stepping up at the moment, and that's how you do it. You make sure you can't come into the B-bomb site. Oh my goodness, it's going into double digits, unless Solo Mini Zeta can actually pull off a clutch. They have not looked close so far on this T side of MVP PK. This has been a problem we've seen before in Train.
Yeah.
This has been an issue we've seen before.
And what should have been an utterly dominant victory for MVP is now being soured a little bit by NASR. How much further can this go? This will be 10. I didn't think it would get to 15-10. No way.
I didn't think either, but you got to sometimes play with your heart on your sleeve. And for Havoc, he's stepped up completely.
Good to see.
Like
Good to see.
22 kills at the B-side, and he's going aggressive.
Well, like I said, somebody needs to step up for NASR in this matchup. They need to take this game by the balls. They need to be the one to make the plays, be proactive, and make it happen for their lineup. And so far, it's working out okay for NASR. But MVP, they're trying to actually make this round happen as well, but they don't really have time. Oh, Solo! He's not going to get the bomb down in time, I don't think.
Oh my God!
1v1, no way. Solo the clutch god, can he do it? Just needs the one bullet, the headshot onto Nami, but he'll drop. Too close for comfort there for NASR. Solo almost makes it happen, and boy, oh boy, what a clutch that would have been to put MVP through to 16.
That's the moment where the two players over that green train, when they died, that would have been the moment where you're just slumping and you're just going, Nami, please, I want you to get this kill for us.
Yeah.
He does it. He holds there with a pistol. It's a little bit shaky.
If you only get one more kill for the rest of this map, it's this one.
It's this one. To
Like,
just
you
keep
literally
us
could
alive
just
in the next
bot out
one.
the next 5 rounds. At least we'll have another 5 rounds, you know what I mean? Like, oh well, he gets the job done in the 1v1. An expensive round for NASR, but like you said, it doesn't matter too much because their money is... They can't lose a round, so they just have to keep buying and keep buying and keep buying. 15-10's up. MVP making it close in that one. That's one that's going to shake NASR a little bit, I feel.
Shaken, but at the end of the day, they're still not stirred up. Still looking to, no matter what the odds, bring it back. And once again, it just goes back to what our mutual friend Sniper of World of Tanks fame, as you may know him from.
2 majors, by the way.
Never tell me the odds. That's what NASR is saying at the moment. Don't tell me the odds right now, lads. Don't tell me the fact that MVP are up 15-3.
What a comeback this would be. What a fairy tale this would be for NASR, this entire event.
Have to hold off this B-side hit, though.
Uh-oh, Zion gets Havoc. Nami down on 2 HP as well. Does at least get 1, but traded out by the Molotov. And Glow, wrapping around in the A-bomb site, playing that lurk role, has been phenomenal for MVP on this map. And this might be it. MVP with the bomb down now. 2 versus 4. Greens and KitKat to try and stand up tall for their roster. But I think this one is too much for them, Kevin. We're going to see KitKat drop. It's a 1-for-1 trade. That's not good enough for NASR. And finally, MVP will close it out. 16-10 in the end. NASR, it was a good fight back, and it felt like for a moment they might be able to do it, but the job was just far too much.